Hi, my name is Leilani, and in this video, I'm gonna share with you how I plan my life. I am a homeschool mom of 4 kids. The youngest does have Down syndrome, so there's a lot of planning with therapies, doctor appointments. I also do YouTube, obviously, and I plan all of this stuff out, as well as I'm looking into conference speaking and business type stuff, so that. And then I also have my homeschool evaluation stuff that I do. And which I always seem to forget to mention, but I am in charge of the children's ministry at our congregation. So I got a lot of big jobs that I'm doing. So let me show you what I use. First of all, bullet journals. I've done the bullet journal. I tried the bullet journal. I've done all the bullet journal things. I had my kids try the bullet journals, and I'm kind of bullet journaled out. We did it for a year. We did it, okay? I feel like I kind of pushed myself through it, and then the following year, I just resorted back to the thing that I've always done. When I worked at the public school system, when I was in high school, when I was in college, I just went back to that. And that's list making and a notebook. So this is my notebook. Say hi, notebook. Hi, notebook. So on the front, I just kind of personalized it, put the things that I enjoy just because it's a notebook, right? And I also put a little note on here that says, if found and I'm not around, please call me. My number's underneath the pie sticker. And I haven't lost it yet, thankfully. And so, yeah. The one reason I really like to put together a notebook as opposed to a bullet journal is because a bullet journal, you can't necessarily rip out the pages when you're done. And if you want to reorganize it, you can't really do that. And I'll explain in a second. So when you open this up, I do have things in a pocket. It's scrap paper, it's some scripts, it's things that I'm currently working on that I haven't found a place to put. Also note, I go through this notebook quite frequently, so I'm familiar with where things are in the notebook so it doesn't just disappear, because I'm constantly going through it, throwing things away, moving things around, all those things. On the first page, I have my to-do list right here. And what's nice about a to-do list is that, of course, you cross things out, and as you cross things out, there's this sense of accomplishment. You can add things to the list. You can rewrite the list on a separate sheet of paper if you need to really think through all the things that you need to do. And if I want to keep the list, I can always add a new list on top, which I do quite frequently. So when you turn the page, you're going to find that I have another list of things. I also use a lot of scrap paper. I use scrap paper pretty much for all my lists. This first section I probably should label, but it's basically my homeschool co-op stuff. I didn't mention that. I also teach science at a homeschool co-op once a week. So this is my homeschool co-op stuff. It's pretty empty right now because it's the summer, but it's gonna fill up as we go. I have everything from, another checklist. Checklist is a winner for me. And then I have the syllabi for the classes that I'm teaching. That's it. And I have some blank paper because I'm probably gonna go to a meeting at the co-op and I might wanna take some notes. I always bring this to meetings. Note taking is just, it's a thing that you do when you go to meetings. The next section is my YouTube compartment. So as you can see, I'm compartmentalizing the different areas in my life. So if I need to go to the YouTube section, if I need to go to the homeschool co-op section, I can do that. But the checklist in the front is for everything. And so my YouTube section right now is actually a combination of not just my YouTube stuff, but it's got contracts in there. And I've actually been doing a lot of research for homeschool conventions and conventions in general. I actually have a couple that I'm participating with. I'm kind of excited. So this might actually split into 2 tabs. I might have to get more. So this is why it's nice to have a notebook as opposed to a journal. I'm gonna be shifting things around in this thing. Another thing that's really nice about having a notebook as opposed to a journal is I have a lot of photocopy papers that I've collected, and I'll show you in a second. But here's the YouTube thing. You open up, first thing you see is another list of videos that I want to make. I've got a couple of these because I'm constantly researching what to make next. So I also have stuff in here for another book that I'm going to write. I've got contracts in here with a couple of things that I affiliate with, as well as a conference contract. I do sometimes use Post-it notes. I really do like these big post-it notes right here because not only, you know, they've got a little tab on the side, but they're big. So if I need to write information about, you know, what I'm tabbing, I've got plenty of room. And sometimes I'll have homeschool papers in here with just like, you know, one thing written on it. So next I have my homeschool planning section. This is going to be all the stuff that I'm thinking about buying, the scholarships that we have for Naomi, programs I'm looking into, notes that I jot down during evaluations of different curriculum that's interesting. So there's this. Starts off with, I'm not gonna show you this, I'll just tell you, but it's another checklist of things I have to do for the scholarship. And then I don't know why this is in here, but it is. I have a social media planning page. Look at it. It's nice, isn't it? Do you notice there's one thing about this that is so unique? It's empty. It's empty because I don't use it because my brain doesn't think this way. Just thought I'd point that out. Next, I have all my stuff for my congregation. So the first page I have in here is actually notes that I took down when we were planning Passover last year, but I'm actually going to keep this. You would think I would throw it away, but I'm gonna keep it for next year so I can, you know, revisit those notes and kind of mimic it again because that's what we're doing. Then I have some more checklist stuff. Once again, it's nice that I can put papers in there that are printed from a computer. Because we are Messianic believers, we get a lot of questions, like a lot of questions. And I engage in a lot of these questions a lot of the time, and sometimes I'm not really ready for them. It could be something as simple as going out to eat with a friend and it comes up, or it's at the co-op, or it's at dance lessons and somebody's asking me. I mean, it's everywhere and anywhere. So this notebook actually comes with me like a lot of different places. So I have placed some worksheets in here of the most popular questions people ask me. So if I need to find some scripture references and verses and information, I mean, I've got that in here. The point is that if there's a lot of material that you reference to often, that you need to reference to often, you can print it out and you can put it in your binder. I do the same thing with my contracts, right? I can print it out, put it in the binder. And I love printing things out and having it readily available in my binder, okay? My husband is always asking me questions. Why are you printing it out? Just save it into a bookmark or something like that in your phone. So I'm not good at using the phone to kind of organize and schedule my day. I use a little bit. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later, but I don't, okay? So for example, let's say that I have a contract and I have to have a video out by a certain date. I need to look up that date and I wanna find the information about that video that I'm supposed to make. Well, if it's in my phone, I open up my phone and I know I have to go to the emails to find the document, to pull it up and etc. First of all, there's a lot of steps involved, but on my way to that document, I get distracted and certain things pop up in my head that I've gotta get done, or the notifications go off, and next thing you know, I'm looking at this and this or doing something totally different and I don't get things done. I lose my train of thought. So in this case, the contract is inside my notebook and all I have to do is open it up and flip to the page, and then, it's done. I found it. And I know where it is. Like I said, I go through this notebook over and over and over again. Once again, so nice to have a notebook as opposed to a bullet journal because I can just add the pages in. Now I know you could consider this a bullet journal. You could, totally, but it's more like a notebook to me with checklists. Big stash of stuff that I make reference to a lot of the time. It's right there, readily available. And then the last page on here is my extras page. And right now, that pretty much only consists of my Christmas card list. Nope, I don't have an app for it. I'm writing everybody's name and address in the back of my binder. I'm not gonna show you their names and stuff, but I do have a nice little sheet that looks like this. I got from Wendy, Plan, Prep, Pray. Now in the extra section, I did write out some of my schedule just to see if I can keep track of things a little bit more, but I don't always use this because my husband's brain does not work like my brain. So what me and my husband have done is we did create a Google Calendar, and we both take time to put stuff in there. My husband puts his work schedule in there. My husband also likes to make a lot of adult, gatherings and also family gatherings, play dates for kids. And he'll look at the calendars to see if there's a conflict but also schedule it. And he doesn't even have to really communicate with me. And we have this shared agreement that it's totally okay to do that because both of us really like hanging out with people. So if somebody wants to hang out with us, check the calendar, find a date, plug it in, and we're good to go. But I also have all of Naomi's therapies in there with evaluations, because I did mention I do homeschool evaluations for the state of Florida, and people actually contact me and they schedule them in. We have been using only Zoom or FaceTime, basically online evaluations this year. Lots of reasons. One of them is gas situation and prices. Another one is just I need to be home for emergency situations. So when I schedule it through Zoom, it actually automatically will add it to our Google Calendar. So that Google Calendar is huge for our family. We use it a lot. Now, I also have in the very back pocket of the book some flyers. This is a place where I like to store information from other people that I'm networking with. This is a company, I got a bunch of them. I might as well just like give them a shout out. But they are a group in Florida that helps homeschoolers transition for the Hispanic community. So we live in Florida, so we have a lot of Puerto Ricans, we have a lot of Cubans, we have a lot of people coming over from Mexico and South America. And so a lot of them, when they come in, they don't understand the laws. The English can intimidate them. So it's nice to have a group of people that they can reach out to and be able to speak to them and learn what they need to do, have the confidence to homeschool their kids. So I have a bunch of their pamphlets in here because I do come across, my husband is Puerto Rican. I do come across a lot of Hispanic families, and it's really nice to have this resource to share with them. And that's it. That's my lovely, beautiful notebook and how I organize things. Now with the kiddos, right? The kiddos, we can't forget about the ones that are young that have ADHD. What I have done is I have bought this planner. It's very, very simple, and all it is basically a checklist, because look, if you have ADHD, checklists are the best things that you can use. So it's got to do for today, today's date, box for something creative, and acts of kindness and good deeds. That's it. And then when they're done, they can turn it over and do the back of the page. And it's the same thing for the next day. Same thing, that's all it is. It's the same exact page over and over and over again. Now, I understand that this may get lost. So what I am planning on doing is actually making a printable, and eventually once we're done with this notebook, which I think there's about 300 pages in here, when we're done with this notebook, we're gonna use the printable, and they're gonna be able to write checklists out that way. Our brains think a little bit differently, and I really believe, at least for me, checklists seem to be the way to go. And the notebook is great. Once again, bullet journals are huge if you want to go down that route. I did try it. I have a video about it, but you can also, it's all over YouTube, to be quite honest. So let me know from you guys what you do to plan your homeschool year out, or your life out, or your therapies out. Share with me down in the description box below, and others, go ahead and look at those ideas to kind of share and talk to each other. I love seeing you guys interact down at the bottom so I can glean from you, learn from you, all those things. So give me a thumbs up if this was helpful. Let me know if this was helpful. And until then, I will put some videos around my face right now, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.